Welcome to Roving Slant, in quotations, podcast, where we talk about anything and everything that's on our minds. I'm Cody, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Sam.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
So, Sam, I've heard you've been talking about wanting to live out in the woods. What's up with that?
Yeah, I've been feeling pretty cooped up in my city lately, and I just have the strong desire to be surrounded by nature.
I can definitely understand that. But what about all the bugs and the lack of modern conveniences? Do you think you're going to be able to handle that?
I think it would be worth it. I think it would be worth it to be able to wake up to the sounds of birds singing instead of car horns. And honestly, I think it would be good for my mental and physical health.
I can see that. But before you make any drastic moves, let's talk about some of the other things that have been on your mind.
Sure.
So I know recently you've been feeling a little down about the fact that you've been eating a lot of sugar lately.
Yeah, I know it's not good for me, but I can't seem to stop.
Well, I have some great news for you for you specifically. Sugar is really bad for you.
Thanks, Cody. I appreciate the support.
No problem. But seriously, it's linked to a lot of health problems like obesity, diabetes, heart disease.
I know. But just hard to resist.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think it would be good for you to try cutting back, even just a little bit if you could.
Yeah, you're right. I'll try to be more mindful about my sugar intake.
I mean, that's all I can ask for. But and now, let's talk about something a little bit more lighthearted.
Okay.
So, I heard about this guy who can teleport using smells.
What? That's ridiculous.
I know. But can you imagine? Just like close your eyes and think of a smell of your favorite food and poof, you're there.
That's amazing. But I think I'll stick to the old-fashioned way of getting around.
Well, you never know. Maybe one day we'll be able to teleport using smells. Thanks for listening to Roving Slant Podcast. Join us next time for more discussions on everything and anything.
Yeah, and remember, everything in moderation, including sugar.
Wow, dude, you put a lot of effort into that.
Yeah, so this is, I entered a prompt into an AI, and they wrote us a script for the podcast.
Holy shit, that's actually hilarious.
So that entire whole beginning, all
Wow.
scripted. Just like every episode.
Dude, we don't even need to do podcasts anymore. What are we even here? Why did I even call you out here for this?
I don't know. I could have just sent you the script earlier, and we could have just
Yeah, I could have practiced.
There is a second script.
Okay.
We don't have to do it, but
We'll save it.
We'll save that one. So anyways.
Does it start off with the opening of the podcast too?
Kinda.
Okay.
Right? So, they both do. Because it's just a script for a podcast.
Then we'll do it for the next one then.
Yeah, we'll save that. So we'll have to remember to do the other.
Even if we forget, then the people watching the next one will try to determine whether or not it's fake. Even though we deliberately do sound fake when we do it.
Realistically. Yeah, it really sounded pretty fake.
It sounds way robotic.
Especially whenever I repeat my words twice because I go... Yeah, anyway. Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Honestly, if we just do the scripts, though, and then we get an AI to do an AI of our voice,
mm-hmm.
and then we get some sort of, facial,
masking.
Yeah, the deep fake of our faces.
Yeah, we'll just... We record new episodes. Why do people even listen to this?
Yeah, honestly.
I just told them they could type it into an AI, and the AI, it's close enough.
Honestly, as far as everyone's considering, we are just AI because we don't show our faces.
Exactly.
We're just a purple box with a bunch of weird images on it, looking like a collage made by an AI or something similar.
Yeah, even our the whatchamacallem, the cards on the episodes for YouTube,
mm-hmm.
even those are pretty AI-ish.
Yeah, the thumbnails do look very
thumbnails. Yeah.
So, see, an AI would know that word. That's how you know you're real.
Well, yeah, but see, the thing is that in the prompt for the AI, we put the thing that said make it very human-like and a little stuttery. And so now my AI is a little.
There you go.
Tripping over words. So, anyways, we're inside your cave.
Yeah, we are. We're in the cave today. I turned off the heat. Because if the heat was on, we'd be baking in here.
Yep.
But I suspect that when Jade gets here, she will turn on the heat. So you'll very quickly start to strip clothes as we're in the sauna of this room. Dude, if I turn on the heat for 10 minutes, even though it's only, I think, 69,
Oh,
the gamer
nice.
number. Yeah, for the whole office. Like, this room in particular just blows up with heat.
It's probably like the heater's like right there, right above this.
I could sweat in here for hours.
Jesus.
But yeah, dude, what's up with you, man? Tell me.
Working. That's it. I literally work. That's it.
It honestly sounds like you've been working at a metric ton.
That's right. I'm gonna sound like the AI now because
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
It's in the back. So like I've been working a ton. I've been doing like I don't know. I still been working out and stuff, but dude, it's just been like the grind of work. And then I went on a wine tour. Yeah, toured some wine. I was drunk the whole time.
Wow.
Came back.
You really should cut down on your sugar consumption. It's the leading cause of obesity, heart disease. I really think you should try to cut back.
Yeah, I'll give that a try.
Alcohol is even worse because it goes through the gut lining and not only lays waste to all gut bacteria, which we both agree is integral to good health.
It is.
But it gets into the lining and allows bad bacteria to disperse freely, roam throughout the rest of your body.
Yeah.
As well as damage your liver.
And then every day I just go home and I'm like, time to crack open another cold one.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, and then you hit enter and the AI generates the next script.
And then I go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was the wine tour? Did you guys, drink anything or?
No, we just looked around.
Do you feel like you remember aspects of it or?
Oh yeah. I remember the whole thing. I mean, like, a friend of mine who you met once at my wedding, was there, and he had like 3 edibles at the first winery, and then drank wine, and then drank the entire time, and like he didn't make it very long. I mean, as you wouldn't if you did a bunch of drugs.
Yeah. Do you think do you think that sort of coping mechanism with all those exogenous substances was
You know what? My theory.
Yeah, what's your theory?
I do think that there are people that whenever they drink alcohol, they feel better. They feel...
That is true.
Yeah.
That's proven.
I think I think he's possibly one of those people where he just gets like so messed up. You know what I mean? It's just... He's like blown out of his mind. He's like, this is great.
Like, I don't think it... I don't know what the genetic... impact is on you, but I do know that if you're like a consistent drinker and you're like if you consistently drink, even if it's a couple of drinks a week or something, that changes the way cortisol works in your body, and so you have like a baseline of stress that's like higher than normal, and so drinking does make that less for you when you do drink. But that's because you're consistently drinking. If you weren't drinking, then I imagine it would repair itself and return to baseline, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist.
Neither am I.
I'm just a guy that likes to do parasite cleanses.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, for him, he obviously, he wasn't feeling too good, because, by like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
We started at 9:45, by the way.
Oh, okay.
You start drinking at 9:45, 10 o'clock-ish. And then, the whole day until like, it's like an 8-hour shift.
Wow.
Because it's like 9 to 5. So, by like 5:30, we're off the bus and we're just, walking around already drunk. So that was cool. I did it last year as well. It was a good time. But I did my whole family does it. So,
I guess that makes sense. I mean, your family were, people who listen to the podcast, they know. The Crown Royales.
Yeah, they did.
We've talked about them.
Royales. But, yeah. Been getting sleep.
Have you?
I got, kind of. I have this, I got this, Whoop. Do you know that thing at all? Okay, it's like a wristband. I got it for Christmas.
Okay.
It tracks everything all the time.
Okay.
Except, like, doesn't have GPS, but we got that on the phone, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. But it tracks your heart rate and, like, RSR, which is resting heart rate, and some other things. So it'll keep track of all those while you're sleeping and all that stuff. So it'll detect, like, that, oh, hey, you fell asleep. It'll see, like, how much I go into REM, how much I have, like, heavy sleep or deep sleep and light sleep, and then how much I, like, wake up. in quotation marks in the night, because I don't remember waking up. It'll be like, you were up for a total of 15 minutes last night. Like, when? Mm-hmm. But anyway,
and then it uploads all that information to the cloud.
Yep.
Sends it over to Google's headquarters, and they start manufacturing the next product that they can sell you that's going to fix your sleep, right?
That's right. They send me the sleep pill trials in the mail for free. They're like, here, try it. I'm like, man, I could get so much more sleep.
How is it, though? I mean, does it seem like it's pretty accurate, or what?
It's pretty good, yeah, because it'll be like, you're really tired today. Like, yeah, I am.
It like tells you how to feel, and you're like, yeah, I do feel like that. It's like Stardew. You go to the TV at the beginning of every day to determine what your luck is. You're like, I really don't feel lucky today. Yeah. I feel like I'm not going to be able to find gold in the mines today.
I feel terrible. Yeah. So, it's kind of like that. Like, I wake up, and then I'll look at it, and it'll be like, so I'll show you just really quick. Like, for example, last night I have a recovery rate of 32%, which is pretty bad.
Okay.
But you can kind of go through my stats and stuff like that. I worked out yesterday, so it recorded that. Shows how much strain I've gone through today. Mm-hmm. I found out that like my cousin's also has like the same exact thing. So we're paired up. We're on a team together. But he was saying that through his research, he found out that like if you have a good heart and it processes stuff really well, your strain, it's hard to get the strain up to like higher levels, meaning that you had a good cardio workout. And I find that, yeah, that's true. Because I guess I have a good heart because I've will work out to where like my muscles are just aching. Mm-hmm. But I'll look at the app and it'll be like, yeah, you got a little bit of strain in there.
Well, I think the strain depends on your heart rate. So, I mean, depending on the exercise you're doing, it may not be pumping enough blood. Like you probably want to maintain like a high, like maybe if you did like running, I imagine the strain would go up, right?
Yeah. So like I've went on the treadmill and ran for like 10 minutes, right?
Oh, okay.
And so that's like usually the higher strain ones, or if I do a bike, I'll do biking for like 10 minutes with like resistance on, mm-hmm. and that's pretty good. Swimming, I've been swimming a lot. Mm-hmm. Swimming, that one's the best. It doesn't give me like very high strain, but like it's a full body workout. It feels like I feel great after I swim, mm-hmm. and I get the after I do a bike ride, I'll usually be really hungry, and that's how I kind of judge if it's a good workout. So I get that.
There you go.
That's nice.
Honestly, it sounds pretty fun to like be like maintain your stats, right?
Yeah, it's video game stats. I don't know if you like scroll down at all, but like
I was looking. Oh, I didn't see the graphs.
Yeah, so like you can see like my last few days. You can see. I think on Wine Tour it was really low over there, but you can see like the days that I work and have like a terrible day. You'll see them like low percentage ones,
Honestly, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll also tell you like when to go to bed. It'll be like, hey, if you want to, judging by your last month of whatever, if you go to bed by 9:45, you'll have a great sleep. And like, I kind of feel like staying up till 11.
I guess that's interesting. That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's pretty neat. I've also been gaming my stats too.
Oh yeah.
Here, I'll show you since we're at my computer. I've been maintaining and writing down all my exercises for like the last month.
Look at that.
Some days I don't do as good.
Well, yeah.
Or some like weeks and stuff like that. I'll take like a couple days off and things like that. But otherwise it's been about an average of 5 days a week for calisthenics.
That's cool.
I don't got a problem with it.
Damn.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
See, I kind of find the stats of everything more like. It's like, oh yeah, I did 9 whatever last time, and then like now I'm doing whatever. Yeah. The gains.
Now I'm doing this in a Google Sheets thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that over the course of it, unless Google's listening to this information, they're not gonna be able to figure out my true weakness despite knowing my gains, because I'm gonna throw off the scent by adding in weird gains that shouldn't be there. Uh-huh. So they're gonna think I'm like weak to fire, but I'm actually going to be weak to ice when they go to fight me.
Damn. They're like, oh no, we only brought 4 fire mages.
We brought 4 fire mages and 5 different types of parasites, but this guy's been microdosing wormwood for the last 10 months.
How could we see this coming? Yeah. But wait, now they're going to listen to the podcast.
That's true.
In preparation.
That's what I'm saying. So some of this information is fake too.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they don't know if I'm going to do they don't know if this is just AI scripted, right?
It is AI scripted.
Yeah, it could be. I really think you should cut down on the sugar, though.
The Google AI that is reverse engineering the other AIs is trying to figure it out right now by our voices.
You should really get some sleep. Now's a good time. If you based on your last months of terrible no progress, it would be more beneficial to your lifespan, which we're gauging in advance with the data.
That's exactly what it's doing.
Yeah. We predict you'll die on this day of this date if you continue sleeping at this rate.
It's like one day it just like sends me a little message, just like expected lifetime expectancy. I'm like,
oh shit.
It's like, it sends me a message, is that last game of League worth it?
We noticed your heart rate increase by a significant margin for several minutes, but not over a long period of time and only in one GPS location. Based on your masturbation habits of the past month, we estimate that if you continue cooming at this rate, you're going to significantly reduce your lifespan.
We have determined you are infertile.
Yeah, you've been sterilized. You have so little testosterone that your swimmers can't even make a child if you wanted to.
Yeah, each wristband has like one sterilization shot where it just goes like, sorry, you weren't working out enough.
It's like, please use the Alexa super sucker in the wall.
Collecting sample.
Testing fertility. Based on your sugar consumption for the past 3 weeks, we recommend that you get 30 extra minutes of sleep, as well as start masturbating to less gay porn in order to increase testosterone. May we suggest hentai of this variety?
We notice it's taking you an extra 30 seconds to ejaculate. Would you like verbal affirmations? Yeah, affirmations. You're doing great. Please come.
Oh, if you do not like this particular voice, we also have British Alexa affirmations as well.
Blimey, you're doing great.
You're doing fucking great. What? You want the female version? We don't have the female version. Please pay $10 for the DLC to unlock the female British version.
Or $2,000 for the legendary edition by Bella Delphine.
Recreated from an AI database after her unsightly death in the early aughts.
You buy it in like the beginning of the voice packs, like, please help me, I'm in a dungeon. They make me record voice lines.
Yeah, like her Fitbit picked up her last moments and they use that in the data. Final recording of Belle Delphine in the data-driven AI.
What a future we're heading towards.
Honestly, dude, it only gets better by the day. That meme you sent me, we'll have to post it somewhere so that everyone can see it. Like, it's like what? It's like too early to go in the metaverse.
Oh, yeah.
Too early to live in the metaverse.
Too late to buy a house.
Yeah, too late to buy a house, and just in the right time period to finance your pizzas.
Yeah.
Which, that meme is behind, because we talked about that on our podcast.
We were ahead of the curve.
It's true.
The meme curve, yeah. You know, how did you even find out about the financing? Because I didn't know about it.
I saw an ad for it.
They're like, hey.
I don't think I saw the ad directly to me. It was like somebody posting an ad or something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm on all those boards where people routinely talk about how technology will be the deficit of our future.
Yeah.
So,
you know,
they post about stuff like that. It might be fake.
Yeah,
it was funny though.
It could have been, and then it became real.
It could be fake news.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I've been lied to.
Wait a second.
AI actually sucks.
Well, so I've been learning a little bit about AI.
Oh, have you?
Okay, I've been listening to some podcasts.
Oh man.
I've been looking into some documents.
Yeah.
And like how they train the AIs is like very still barbaric. Like people think like I talked to my dad about it and he's like, I'm afraid of these things, man. They're gonna take over soon enough. And I'm like, they could, but like the ChatGPT 3, or 5.3 or whatever, or 3.5. is the one that I use to get our script.
Yeah.
As it ends up, what they did is they fed it a bunch of stuff. But after they fed it a bunch of stuff, they don't say what, by the way. That's like a trade secret, what you feed it. They then took that, hired a bunch of people to sit around like monkeys at a computer. They would type in a prompt and say like, write me a joke in the style of David Letterman or something like that, right? And so the AI would dump out the joke and then have 4 different variants. And then the people at the computers would read the prompt, read the joke, and be like, which one's the closest? That one. So it would kind of be like democratic and be like, these 2 were really good jokes. So then the AI would get that feedback and be like, okay, let's tune it in a little bit. And so it'd keep doing weird prompts like that. So there would be just millions and billions of those. So these people just sat around for like 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day, whatever, and just hit yes on which prompt.
It's like determining what they think is the best prompt. Or I get it. That makes sense.
So realistically, I mean, the AI was made by humans. It was hand-picked what it was fed by humans, and then we also approved, in quotation marks, its content that it's going to start spitting out. So realistically, like, the AI is not doing a lot other than going, like, I have a metric ton of data I can go through to make little things about stuff I get asked.
I do think what is out currently is very impressive, but I am interested to see what will happen.
Yeah, I think...
I mean, once we get I've seen people do the GIF AI stuff recently. That stuff's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Soon enough, I mean, you won't even have to live in the real world. You'll be in Sword Art Online.
I'm ready.
You're ready to isekai yourself away to another world.
Rather than working in the current hellscape of a welding plant that I'm working in, I'll like get to work, put on VR goggles, and be playing an RPG where I'm like, I'm like moving a robot around and killing people, but realistically, I'm just teaching points on a robot.
And then your VR screen will flash in front of you and be like, based on your 5 finance pizzas for the last 2 months, you're not going to be able to afford unless you start grinding this mob for this long with ads on. You're like, I don't want to watch these ads anymore. Scientology is the religion for you. The religion of the future.
Just forces you. Domino's has contacted us, and they want to collect their money, so we're going to play you ads.
Now, if you work in the Domino's digital environment for X amount of hours, you can pay off your pizzas in less than 32 minutes with a total exerted calorie. Yeah, you have to maintain your calories. That's what it is. The game will be like, you only have so many calories before your body shuts down. And since you've been sitting for 5 years now, we have to make sure that your body actually can survive this.
You just go like, damn it, I knew I should have bought Domino coin. Oh, fuck. I could have had a higher tier pizza.
Man, if I was just offshoring my cryptocurrency in third world countries a little bit sooner.
Too late to offshore my cryptocurrencies. Too early to work in the Domino's VR kitchen.
To pay out my pizzas. And it's like pizza delivering, and it's just like they mainlined it to your veins. They just have like a food that's crushed up, and just like, pump it into you.
You're just like in a chair, like crumpled, and then it's like pizza delivery, and you start like shaking, like You don't even move.
They have like a little spray, like they have a little nozzle in your mouth that sprays the flavor, so you get it to your tongue. It's all chemical. You don't chew anything because chewing takes up too many calories. They just fucking spritz it in there. You're like, I love Domino's flavor.
Everything's Domino's, just like
you're fucking emaciated in this fucking hellish iron prison. Lady Gaga's new hit single.
Signal. Yeah, Signal, because we're just in the machine.
Yeah.
The AI just generates Lady Gaga music.
Yeah, she's been dead for hundreds of years. But based off her like previous discography and track record, they can just surmise all the weird shit she'd go into. They give her for like AI made costumes. And AI generated videos.
They still haven't like worked out the bugs, so her mouth's like on the side of her head and junk.
Then they'll do the same shit that they do in the virtual world and the real world. They'll be like, "There's just not enough space, so you can only afford this much property. You have to pay taxes on it every year. You can't own anything. You own nothing."
Yeah. Jesus. Well, I guess you can only own something for like 1,000 years here or something, and then it goes to the government. Do you know that?
It depends, yeah.
There's like some weird rule where it was like, yeah, so no matter what, you're always leasing the land from the government, and then after about 1,000 years, we get to decide what to do with your land. Even though we wrote you a thing that says that you own it, you don't.
I'm gonna go build my house on the Pacific garbage patch.
There we go.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Live off there. When they're stacking all those fucking tiny homes made out of cargo crates, fucking thousands high, in their shitty dystopian future where everyone buys a chair that they sit in eternally. I want to be out there on the fucking ocean, living on the garbage, looking at all the decaying plant matter and animals.
I noticed that you said a word that doesn't exist in the future, and that was purchase. You have installments.
That's true.
To pay on your lease.
Yeah, infinite installments.
Yeah,
everything's leased to you.
Yeah, so I mean, they get their chair back at the end.
It's true.
Yeah.
You're buying the ability to not live out your life. That's what you do.
That's right.
You're like, God, I can't believe I was born in this world. Thank God I was born in a time where I don't have to live. God forbid.
I wonder what, like, if you lived on the garbage patch, right? Because you would have your own set of problems.
Yeah.
So if you lived out there and you set up your little home, like, you'd be walking around and, like, every once in a while you'd stick your foot through. You'd have to, like, get used to, like, falling through the garbage.
Yeah, I'd have to terraform. The best part is I'd still suffer from microplastic problems.
Yep.
I would still suffer.
Even more.
Yeah, probably more.
Yep.
I'm sure all that. It would be a charnel ground. I don't know if you've heard of that before.
No.
A charnel ground is like an old, I'm probably going to butcher this, but it's an old thing in history where they would dump all the bodies. It was known for being really smelly and really gross, and it's where bad things would happen. Like, people that were skulking around there were definitely bad people.
Oh, yeah.
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 So it would be like that, but with garbage.
Seagulls.
Yeah, dead everything.
Yeah.
Fish.
Yep.
Fish that are changing genders because of the pharmaceutical pills in the water that we just dump.
Yeah, we don't need those pills. Dude.
Oh, man.
You could distill them, and, like, maybe that's how you make some money. I mean, actually, you don't need money.
Yeah.
But then...
Yeah.
Did you ever see the guy that made those machines that, like, takes the garbage from the garbage patch and,
That's
like,
true.
recycles it?
Yeah, I've seen that.
You would have to, like, fight those. You'd have to sabotage them, throw, like, sea mines at them.
Yeah, as soon as there's a way to make money in garbage, you best bet all those people would be coming from my land.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're like, get off my property!
Yeah. I got a gun made out of, like, old pipes. The gunpowder is just like some horrible, whatever decaying chemical I can find that explodes, has an explosion rate.
You pretty much just make a potato can.
Yeah.
And you just like...
I harness sunlight through plastic bottles. And broken, shitty solar panels.
You just try to blind the automated garbage picker-uppers and the sensors. Like, yeah!
Yeah, somebody's like feeling really nostalgic for old times, so they buy garbage on Amazon, and a drone comes out to pick it up, and I'm fucking blinding the drone's webcams, which are just run by a bunch of guys in India still.
It's still cheaper somehow.
Yeah, it's still cheap. It's like fucking Britain's slave state.
It'll always be cheaper. Just
this fucking guy on this fucking garbage patch.
Excuse me, sir. It just like has a microphone.
I'm trying to do my job. The fucking speaker. I'm so far removed from the common lingo that I don't even understand broken English from an Indian guy.
You're speaking your own language
now. I've like, developed
just stomping on your garbage.
It's because I've been subjected to every language in every bottle that's been disposed of in the ocean. And from reading all those languages, I've just made a mishmash language of the old days. The old world.
Old world. Old world language.
Yeah.
God. But yeah. So, you know, you'll have a good time on your
It'll be amazing. It's going to be fucking great. And I'll be able to sit there and farm and...
farm garbage?
Grow GMO foods that are so far removed from foods that exist today. It's like corn, but with a K. What the fuck is this?
You develop new species. Yeah, it's seagull resistant.
Yeah, birds don't even give eggs anymore. They give just eggs.
And they just like pluck out a bottle. A little canister of just eggs. Yes!
Finally, another one.
You have to like kill seagulls constantly.
Like mutated fish that are carrying out God's will evolved to walk on the garbage patch. So I have to start fighting them.
And try to take your land.
Yeah. 1,000-year-old Pepsi turns out to be some sort of like directed evolution for certain types of fish.
God. Oh, dude, that reminds me. I was playing Fallout.
Yeah.
I know this is, but it pays. It's a little bit has to do with what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's
doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, I know. No. But there's the FEV, and so it's like that's like the thing that mutated all the super mutants and all that junk. So it's like that's your FEV is the old Pepsi. It's just inside a little container, and you like spill it on stuff, and the seagull starts like mutating rapidly. Can't believe people used to drink this stuff.
Oh my god.
God. So anyway.
Yeah, anyways.
Living life.
Yeah, it's been like a month.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing pretty good. Been reading a lot.
Yeah?
For my book club. We had our first book club meeting in January. That was cool. We read the Constitution of America. That was actually a lot of fun to talk about.
That's nice.
I had a really good joke at some point. So I'm going to get rid of all the context. So what we were talking about was prisons.
Okay.
And we were talking about like how prisons and like private prisons are essentially just like a way to get cheap labor.
Mm-hmm.
And I had mentioned, well, you only have like one option or the other. Like we were talking about how you only have one option. It's either sit in solitary confinement or like go work, which you actually get some sunlight.
Yeah.
And so my joke was, well, you either get the D or the vitamin D. And everybody loved that. It was pretty funny.
Is this just like a public...
No, it was a book club that some friends started.
Okay,
they wanted to do a book club, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So we read that. Cool. So if you're interested, let me know.
Yeah.
You have to read Mein Kampf.
That's the next one.
Yeah, it's due March 16th.
What an interesting combination so far. What's the next one?
It was just a random poll. Okay. We like did lottery, so like everybody wrote down a book, and then
I like how the Constitution was first and Mein Kampf is next.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know who put Mein Kampf. I put Brave New World because that's something I haven't read. Mm-hmm. Which is you'll probably find that surprising after our entire last bit.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of in line with the dystopian hellhole.
Yeah.
But yeah. So but honestly, hate to say it, but that book's a banger. No. On to our next subject. Yeah.
Did I tell you I was reading Seven Rings?
No, huh? You did. Sorry, you briefly mentioned it. I think you started it.
Did I mention how much that guy hates merchants?
No.
I think that might have been no.
No, you didn't.
I every time I read it, like I read it in bursts because it's in the guy seemed to only write like a few paragraphs, and that was like a chapter or like a whatever. I don't know how it was originally written, but I imagine the guy would like take a piece of paper, write like whatever on a piece of paper, and be like, "This is part 1 of book 1," and like you know. So anyway, samurai guy, back in the old times, he's like, "This is my tier list of the top 4 jobs in Japan. Number 1, samurai. Number 2, farmer. Number 3, politician. And rounding out the list for the worst job, merchant. I hate merchants." And like all he does, like he is like, I understand why they exist, but I hate them. And they are the worst and they are the lowest life form of people. Like, damn.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So he just talks about how much he hates merchants. You know, it's a book about strategy, realistically. And I think last time we talked, I told you about how he was like, oh yeah, you got to balance out your your life. If you're a samurai and you focused only on samurai stuff, you wouldn't be a good samurai compared to someone who does samurai stuff but also does pottery or poetry.
And I do think it's, if you're good at something, your skills will transfer to other things. It makes it easier to learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah, well, and he was saying more like it's just like a balanced. If you have more of a balanced view on something, you become. You see things in a new light and you become better at the thing that you're trying to get better at, even though you're not practicing it directly. Mm-hmm. So, that makes sense. I don't know. There's a whole book that I'm reading.
Yeah.
that I still need to finish.
No, that sounds pretty good. I've been reading I've been reading a lot of different stuff. I've been reading a bunch of diet books. I got really into some diet nutrition exercise books from the 1920s. I was recently reading some of the stuff from Kellogg himself, which is actually probably better than modern health advice. Yeah, some of it's pretty good.
But then he made sugar cereal.
No, so his brother made the sugar cereal.
Oh.
He made I think from what I understand, I'm pretty sure he made a breakfast of something, some sort of cereal type thing. I think his brother stole or repurposed that invention to sell shitty sugar cereal.
Gotcha.
From what I understand. But actually, most of the stuff, Kellogg says, is pretty great. I even found a no-fap book from him too.
Really?
Yeah, he has a whole book about the detriments of masturbating, basically. I mean, it goes into a lot of other stuff, but that's the prevailing time. It's why chastity is a virtue, basically. And I'm damn, this guy was a Chad before our time, bro. Alpha male Kellogg.
Do you know? So something that I've noticed in my real life. I've been working a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't have a lot of time to masturbate or, have sex with my wife. I know.
Yeah, you're married now.
I know.
You got to start working on that baby, dude.
I do. We just gotta, work on it.
Yeah.
But so
she hasn't been coming to my strategy meetings lately. Haven't been able to.
Yeah, she keeps saying that she's gonna move to the Merchant Guild, and I can't have that.
I told her, baby, samurais are number one. Me with the peen samurai. You, the
Sam.
Yeah, samurai. No,
I am Sam.
It's not going awry. I'm saying it's a pun.
But anyway, what I've noticed, is that because I have long periods, not necessarily that long, but longer periods than in the past of not getting off. Well, if I masturbate, I feel groggy, but if I have sex, it's fine. So there's something to that.
It's funny. I think there is something to that, and all the books about male sexual energy talk about that concept. They talk about how when you're having sex, you're actually exchanging energies.
And trading.
Yeah. That's why it's not, they condemn the loss of semen in the act of you're just wasting it.
Yeah.
Into Coomer fantasies of VTubers that are not even really real. Yeah. I was watching one of my buddy's streams, and there was this guy on there that just could not stop fucking talking about VTubers. And so we were talking about why one of the things he said. Actually, we'll get into it because maybe you'll find it funny.
Yeah,
and this is a podcast. This is what we're here for.
I find it interesting.
He said that all information is pretty much useless that they taught in school, and that things that would have been more useful would have been things like how to do your taxes. And he specifically was complaining that geography was useless and it has no applicable anything.
Have you ever been outside?
Yeah, and that first off, yeah. As well as my favorite thing, which we all agree with when we were talking amongst ourselves, was that he said that he wished that they taught him something about communication between people. When I was sitting there, I was well, my cousin brought up a great point. What facilitates communication better than information about anything? Uh-huh. Being able to relate to someone through geography.
Yeah.
That is a great way. But I was also considering the perspective of, if all you do is watch fucking VTubers, which are two-dimensional, shitty replications of people, you're never going to learn facial recognition. Uh-huh. You're never going to be in a room where you're going to understand the cadence of speech and how to naturally interject and talk and agree and disagree and communicate. You're losing all of that because you're fucking cooming to VTubers.
I mean, the guy obviously went to high school.
He says he's a computer science major.
So, there's no better place to meet people than rooms filled with people of your same age, and possibly they could have the same interest if you talk to them.
That's true.
You could have learned social skills that way.
Honestly, you're right there. That's a.
I don't know how you didn't point that out, but you know.
Yeah, this guy literally smooth brain.
Yeah.
He's all forebrain, no hindbrain.
Damn.
Or maybe all hindbrain, no forebrain.
I
guess forebrain's responsible for foresight, so all hindbrain, no forebrain. That's where all the gray matter is, I think.
But so like the all right, so I have like a person to complain about as well. Well, not really complain. Not really complain.
Complaint podcast?
Complaint podcast. Yes. Oh, but anyway, there's a guy at my current job. There's two guys actually. There's one guy, he's like you know the game Ori and the Blind Forest?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to preface it just so that way you know. This guy was talking about like what games he plays, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I play DayZ, Call of Duty, you know, all those like big macho man games." And then one of the other guys I was working with was like, "Yeah, man, I just beat Ori and the Blind Forest. It was a great game." He's like, "Oh no, that game's a little too feminine for me." Literally used the word feminine. And then he was like, "Yeah, no, my niece was playing it, and I heard her, like, you know, she beat the game, and she was crying afterwards." I'm like, "No, that's not for me. That's a really feminine game." And the guy was like, "Yeah, but it was a fun game to play." So I didn't know that, like, people, like, existed that literally cared that much about it, where they're like, "Oh, man, it's a game where I might cry. It's a little too girly for me. I can't do that." You know what I mean?
God forbid men are in touch with their emotions. That's not masculine at all.
Just a little bit.
Let me defend my masculinity by not playing that game.
That's right. And then he goes and he's like talking about it. He's a good guy. Like, honestly, I have no real problem with that. And then he's just really homophobic as well. So it was like talking about, he was telling me like stories, and he was like, he was waiting for me to be like shocked about him telling a story about a guy that like was a friend of his who was driving with another friend of his in a road trip, and then like wasn't really clear about this, but the one guy who was driving was like, "So no roadhead" to the other guy who's with him. So he wasn't even involved, but he was like, "Yeah, man, it was kind of gross that guy even said that. Like, he even mentioned a little bit of a gay joke." Like,
honestly, gayness is degeneracy. I completely agree. No,
I understand, but I mean, like, just to be so far.
No, yeah, I get it. You know, it's like you can't even take a joke. Obviously, it was a joke. I'm assuming.
Would think,
yeah,
but he made it seem like it was reality. Like, this guy was like,
"This guy,
so no head."
This guy's literally asking for me to fucking suck his dick,
and he wasn't even involved. It's the worst part. He's like, "I will no longer talk to this friend of mine because of that joke."
That he
wasn't
even
around.
That's pretty funny.
It's pretty blown. You know, I just thought I was like, I didn't even know people like that existed, where they're like, "I won't even talk to someone who makes a gay joke." So
honestly, you know, everyone's got their things in life.
They do. I just thought,
yeah, that's really interesting.
Interesting person. I didn't know.
We'll bring him on the podcast.
There we go. Yeah. Let's bring him. I'll call him up.
Yeah. Make a gay joke. I want to see what his reaction is.
You just leave. You're like, "Welcome to the Bro Job Podcast." He's like, "Dude, I didn't know this was gay."
Honestly, I feel like I need time for like this type of person to ferment so that I can have more jokes on it, because it is very funny and interesting to consider this.
Yes, because
to be like to rate everything in like masculine and feminine.
Yep.
Like this dichotomous.
Like, you have to separate them.
Yeah.
And there's no combination of the two existing. It's like, I play Call of Duty because masculine.
It's like living like a script.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is it's not like we're not in a language like or a country like Spain where like everything ends in masculine or feminine. Yeah. Like he's just carrying that out of his own accord. And he's like just doing it. Like that table, a little bit too feminine. I don't sit at tables because that's kind of girly.
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
It has an A in it, and A's kind of girly.
Yeah, kind of a girly letter, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. But the thing is that I like the guy. I like talking to him.
It's like a manly letter.
It is.
Ooh. Rather than ah. That's feminine.
Yeah. Yeah. These are the noises I require. But yeah. Dude, like, what have you done in the last month? I know you said book club.
Yeah, so I did book club.
You've been working out.
I've been doing a lot of calisthenics work. I've been working on the game. I've been sleeping in the office almost every day of the month, just because it's easier to get up and work. I can control a lot of factors. I wouldn't say I've made a lot of progress on work, but I can control a lot of factors.
Do you feel like a Japanese NEET?
No, not yet.
You're getting
I'm getting there.
Once I like look down at your chair and like the carpet's like worn in, I'll be like, it's happening.
Yeah, dude. Once you see this change colors and start to smell more, then you'll know. Oh man, no, I feel like I would say that sleeping at the office is less hygienic than I want to do, but I think it's I just got to do the self-sacrifice to get to where I want to be. I feel like I've made significant progress. The only time I've ejaculated in the last several months, last 2 months or whatever.
Several months.
Yeah, I think the last time I came was like December 12th or something like that. Uh-huh. And granted, I've looked at porn a few times, so that was pretty rough. But
that would be.
The other times it hasn't been that bad. But I recently had a wet dream that involved some very symbolic things. I'm not going to mention them here because it was kind of weird. And then that was like a few days ago. Mm-hmm. So between December 12th and that few days ago, it's like what? It's February 2nd right now.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. That's like a month, 2 months almost.
Damn.
Feels pretty good. I feel like some pang, like some sort of like, it's like a hunger pang for like sex or something. But other than that, if I just keep drinking weird teas that I make out of tree needles, then I'll be fine.
You can push it down.
Yeah, push it down. No, it's not, honestly, something that really helped me, which I was reading. For some reason, I seem to like find books that lead to other books all the time.
Oh yeah,
that's where I've talked about various spiritual energies communicating to me or something. But it was kind of interesting because I was reading something. I was reminded in my brain of Upton Sinclair's work because I had read one of his earlier books, his autobiography, which I really liked, and he had written a book on like how to have a good life or something. Mm-hmm. And in the book, he talks about a lot of topics ranging from everything like the fasting cure to a bunch of other stuff. And this book was written in like the 1920s as well. But he also talked about like, obviously they didn't have like, I don't think that much pornography in the 1920s, but he did talk about the difference between love and lust. Which I thought was really useful because his description of it was like, okay, like lust is obviously like a very religiously charged word, but when it comes to like the difference between lust and love, if you feel like you want to like have sex and the only thing you care about is like the body aspect of a person and you don't care about their like mind or their heart, then that's just lust. And that is something that you need to repress. You need to do everything you can to stifle those feelings because like it's essentially what honestly the feminists talk about with like objectification. That's basically what it is. Like, and both genders do it. It's the same thing. But if the only thing you care about is like getting off, then that's not love. And so I think that there's a really important distinction there, and I think that helps a lot. Like, when I think about the feelings, I'm like, okay, is this love or lust? Like, am I feeling... Yeah. And I most often than not, masturbation and pornography is just lust. It's never anything else.
I think it always is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I am a lucky person because I don't feel lust towards any real person until I, like, get to know them. So, like my wife, for instance, I didn't really, like... I never really found people, like, attractive. Like, when someone's like, oh, damn, dude, look at that fat ass. Mm-hmm. Like, I never was about that. I was never like, oh, yeah, man. Like, I never thought anything about it other than, like, that guy's pointing out that there's a fat ass. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, the weird thing is, like, my brain only allows me to lust for things in a different way, I guess. Mm-hmm. That I already am in love with. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a weird...
That sounds normal.
Is that?
Yeah, it sounds normal. I've read about that, like, people... I read this once and it stuck in my head for some reason that, like, if you believe in reincarnation, the idea is that there are things that you haven't finished or like overcome in your past lives, and those are the things you deal with in these lives. I don't know how much that is true, but it's really interesting to think about because I do feel like lust is something that I have dealt with my whole life, but I don't have struggles with like food like other people do. Mm-hmm. There are some like really huge people that I've met that struggle intensely with different types of food.
Dude.
Or like greed and things like that. Mm-hmm. Like I don't necessarily feel those difficulties. I
feel it with food a little bit because, dude, if I didn't work out, I think I'd be really fat right now.
That's probably true, yeah.
But maybe I don't necessarily struggle with it because I do work out. I mentally go like, well, I could eat like.
I haven't fasted, so once I fast, I think I'll know whether or not I have trouble with food.
Every once in a while, like, dude, you're hungry. Like, your body, the bacteria in your stomach literally is dying, going, like, we need nutrients, otherwise we die, and it sends as many signals as it can to your brain, which makes you hungry, so whenever you're fasting, you're going to be hungry.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if I could overcome it. Honestly, my last month has just been increasing my self-discipline a lot, basically.
I will say, I've done a 24-hour fast before without even really much. I just felt like I was home for a day, and I was like, I'll just make some coffee and exist for a day. Like, I would say if I work out, I'll be really hungry. But just not working out, fasting, it was hard, but not impossible.
I'm going to start with 3 days, and then I want to try to go up to 40 eventually. That's my goal.
You just start with 3 days? Why not start with a day?
No, I want to do 3. I don't feel like you get any effects from fasting unless it's 72 hours. That's from what I've read, that seems to be what it is.
The worry about it, though, for doing it for long periods of time is that your like gut biome, whenever you start taking food again, it's all messed up.
Yeah, that's what I've read about that.
Yeah.
But, if Jesus can do 40 days and Buddha can do 49, I can do 40.
You're ready.
I believe.
Yeah.
If Irish men starving themselves on hunger strikes can last for 80, I'll be fine on 40.
Jesus. Yeah. But,
But that's something I want to do later down the line. I got some other stuff to do first.
The mental fatigue also from doing that is
I heard that
immense.
you can't like focus on anything really.
Yeah.
It's just you relax, which is like, well, I got so much shit I got to do first that I don't really
don't bother. Yeah.
I do want to do the 3-day one, which I'll probably do soon. But
I mean, you could just take a day or a couple of days and just do it. But you won't. Yeah. Don't look for anything to do. Just watch stuff or whatever,
I read the book Indistractable, which has been really useful. It talks a lot about this strategy called time boxing. Well, at least in one section. So it talks a lot about how to become indistractable, basically. Because I felt like the reason I wasn't getting stuff done is because I kept getting distracted.
Okay.
I think that's true to like a big extent.
Yeah.
But I've been using this time boxing strategy where you like schedule your time ahead of time and then do stuff based on that.
Yeah.
And that's been working pretty well for me.
Yeah.
I've been doing like hour work blocks and then I take 10-minute breaks. That's been pretty good.
Bad, yeah.
I'd like to do longer, but it seems to work best for now.
With my days off, I'll do that usually. Because, like, once I start, like, having a couple days off in a row, it'll be like, I don't want to just sit here and play video games. I have to get stuff done,
Yeah. Like, I feel like there's, he talks a lot about, like, internal triggers and, like, external triggers when it comes to, like, being distracted. And, like, your internal could be, like, feelings of, like, obviously hunger or lust even for something or whatever. And then your external triggers are, like, other people or phone messages, notifications, and different things like that. And so he talks about, like, how to manage them. So that's been really cool. I did not know this, but I learned it when I was reading the book that if your phone is on Do Not Disturb, so if somebody calls you twice within 3 minutes, the call goes through for Do Not Disturb, as well as if you type urgent in a single text before you send the following text, it'll go through Do Not Disturb as well on iPhones. I don't know if that works for Android the same, but
no, but I can set up schedules like no matter what on Do Not Disturb. Like my wife and my parents will always come through. John, like that kind of stuff. But because there's nobody else that's going to call me that's going to be actually urgent.
Rest of it could wait.
You know what's funny is that you say that and that put some triggers in my head because I get spam texts and they'll put urgent in front.
That's interesting.
They play to it.
Yeah, that's good. I never knew it. When I was looking it up, I was like, okay, if you need to get to me, like, this is how you do it, basically. Yeah. So I was explaining it. Because I've been turning everything on Do Not Disturb, and it's been nicer. I've been getting more stuff done, so.
Oh, yeah, unlike phones, so, like, whenever, my alarm, or, sorry, not my alarm, my phone has, like, a schedule to go on Do Not Disturb at, 8. Mm-hmm. So 8 till, like, I wake up, and then it turns off. So that's nice.
But, that's awesome.
You know.
Honestly,
Android.
I've been, like, trying to min-max my life. Yeah. Essentially. And I feel like the fitness is helping with my blood flow a lot. But I really like one of Upton Sinclair's quotes is that society says that you should have 8 hours a day for work, 8 hours a day for play, and 8 hours a day for sleep.
Yeah.
So it's divided in those 3 sections. And his suggestion was that it should be 4 hours of work, 4 hours of study, 8 hours of play, 8 hours of sleep.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think I want to get closer to that. That is what I want to do.
So right now I'm working 7 days a week, and I'm doing like weekends, weekdays, whatever. And I do 10 hours a day on weekdays, 8 hours on Saturday, and on Sunday we do 6. I am so burnt out, and like I talk about this, and I know that there's other people that I'm working with that feel the same exact way, but they want the money and junk. And so it's like, I know if I work 2 weeks in a row, I will be so burnt out that I'll come in on the Monday after the second week, and every bit of work that I've done like on like that Saturday, that Sunday will all be wrong, and I'll start that Monday out by fixing all of my wrongdoings, and then spend the rest of that day making more wrongs for the future. So that way I'm constantly like messed up. But because of greed, and this is how we get money, even though it's not efficient for me personally to work this way, this is what we do. You know what I mean? And it's like, for the last few days or so, I've become like a team lead, essentially. So like for all the robot guys, I am the go-to guy right now, and so it's like I'm just constantly running around talking to people and junk, and it's fine, it's cool, but if I have to go back to like programming and junk, and like I go back to that after a week or two of 7 days, it's just all gonna be trash. So I don't know how to like describe this to a boss. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I don't think it's good to work 7 days. You just don't want to work 7 days. Well, yes, I don't.
Yeah, hey boss, listen to our podcast. We talk about this concept.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I agree with you. Basically what it is you're overworking yourself so much that you end up doing like less efficient work. Yep. And that less efficient work ends up creating more work. Yep. So it's not like they should just pay you more to do less work, basically.
Well, no, I would do the same amount of work,
but just
in less time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I know if I work 8 hours, if I work a 40-hour week, I'm usually fine. If I get the weekend off and all that, like, dude, I'll come in the next Monday and I'll plow through work. There'll even be days where I'm like, I need to work a little bit more because I'm like in the groove, you know, and like that's cool. But once you start doing 10 hours, 7 days, no. Yeah,
it's too much.
Yeah.
I do think, anything, God, oh man,
you're lucky you have this no mold.
Honestly, I am very grateful for it. Not only do I have a lot of people that support me for it, you included as well.
I'm here.
But just like, man, it has been a lot of effort. Honestly, these last few months have been like very rough as far as like money is, because one, it's taken me forever to put out an update. I still don't have like an update off the main branch for my game. But recently, like a famous streamer played my game and I got a lot of traction, so I have some breathing room for a little while now. Which is awesome because I just wanted to continue. Like, I have been making gains, but it's just been like a steadily snowball. So
how long has it been since you've been like on your own, like financially?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like I've always kind of been on my own financially. I mean, like, granted, like my parents I've lived at their house.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like
I've always paid my bills.
How long have you had the office?
Almost over a year.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, over a year, but it's September was our 1 year.
Yeah.
Last year.
So I'll just like this might mean nothing, but like me running a business, because I started in 2019. 2020 obviously sucked because of COVID and junk. But 2021, I mean, there was opportunities to work, but I was still like not doing the greatest. This year, it finally feels like last year felt okay, and like I'm like on my own. Luckily, I saved up enough money before then to kind of pay for those years, and now last year I kind of broke even finally. And then this year it's already feeling like, okay, this is gonna be like a busy year, but I'm gonna finally, I think I'll be ahead.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Yeah, and granted, I released my game in 2019, I think. Yeah, but I've just been working on it since. Sometimes that's had little progress, sometimes it's had more progress, sometimes I've been distracted, sometimes I'm not, but
it could be the year of success for us.
This year does feel very good, honestly, so far. I mean, it's great with the streamer playing it. Man, I got so much love and support from those people. It was a blast.
That's awesome.
So, that's awesome. And then I have, like I said, I've been doing the calisthenics stuff since December, and I feel like that's helped a lot with blood flow. Which, if I'd read these 1920s health books, would have made sense beforehand. I mean, even then, even if it's all bullshit, like, they talk about the general concepts, like, you need blood to pump oxygen throughout your body, and so if you're constantly doing brain work and you're doing no physical work, then you're not going to be able to get blood like in different places across the body. Yeah, and the reason you fall asleep after you eat something is because all your blood goes to your digestive processes to digest food. So you shouldn't do brain work right after you eat. Like just basic stuff like that is fucking useful.
Oh yeah.
Like holy shit! I feel like finally all this fucking reading I've done for like the last 2 years is like paying off now. Everything feels like it's paying off at this moment.
Yeah.
So, like every stupid thing, even the parasite stuff, that stuff pays off in so many different ways. It's really interesting.
Oh, you just remind me of a dream I had.
Yeah. We can talk about dreams. Go ahead.
You're ready for this dream?
Yeah. I forgot to
you can digest it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
But I'm guessing you have a dream, yeah?
Yeah, I have dreams. You continue.
Oh, okay. So this is one that I had recently.
Okay.
Well, actually, okay, so two. Okay.
Tell me.
Both of them have some symbolism. Okay, so the most recent one, I was inside of like a room the size of an outhouse, and it looked like an outhouse, but there was no like toilet. And I was describing to people in like a British accent almost how to avoid these giant death mosquitoes. And so it's like, I will now attract the giant death mosquito to the door, and there's like a crack in the door, and like the mosquito's coming, so now I will back up to the back of the door, or back to the outhouse. Now the mosquito will unravel its tongue, and it had like, literally, it looked like a needle, like a syringe needle, and it would like unravel this like syringe needle and then try to like stab at me, like, see how I'm avoiding the needle. And I was literally like dancing around showing these people, like doing all these weird moves to avoid the needle. See how I'm avoiding the needle. You do not want to be stabbed by the needle. And I was like dodging and weaving and dancing, and then the dream just kind of ended there.
Wow.
So like I don't know who I was describing to. The giant death mosquito was it was literally just a giant mosquito with a syringe tongue. And yeah, that was it was a pretty spooky dream.
Honestly, I don't understand any of the symbolism for that. But
I don't know really if my dreams have that much symbolism.
They got it, bro.
Do you know what it is? I was preparing to become a team leader, and I was showing everybody the pitfalls that you don't want to fall into while programming the robots, because nobody knows how to do anything other than me.
Honestly, that might be true.
I just figured it out.
Honestly, so when I was doing some dream research recently, Jung says that they fall into like 3 categories, like dreams. Most often they're like compensatory dreams, like they compensate for something. So like if you have a big ego, it tries to balance that with your like subconscious and stuff to bring down your ego and things. So like the example they gave was like there was this guy that had a big ego, and so he had a dream that he was on stilts and he like ejaculated. And so he woke up with like a wet dream. And so like the idea is that he's physically thinks he's like above other people, and that aboveness of him on stilts made him feel so much pleasure that he like came essentially. And so it's like trying to balance it out. Basically, I thought that was kind of interesting. The other 2 categories, One of them is like predicting the future, like to be able to tell that something's going to happen in the future through symbolism.
Yeah.
And then the third one is like a reactive category where like you're reacting to something, which kind of reminds me of that dream you had where you were like trying to go to bed and you kept thinking, or you had dreams about like failing work or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I tell you? I told you about the wire dream.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was talking about. That's the dream.
Yeah, the wire. Yeah, but and then my other one just real quick, and it's more of a coincidence. So like my grandma, she died a long time ago, right? So, on the day of her, I can't remember if my mom said it was her birthday or the day that she died. I had a dream that. Yeah, the furnace is on, but I had a dream that my cat had turned into my grandma, but not really. It was just like I could just tell that my cat was my grandma while I was asleep, and I'm like, "Hey, grandma," and like that was kind of the end of the dream. The cat just kind of laid on my chest. I'm like, "That's cool." So like on the day of that, even though I didn't even know it until I called my mom, I had a dream about my grandma on either her birthday or her death day, one of the two. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, my mom, like, she was like, "What day was it?" And I'm like, it was like at the beginning of last month. And she was like, "Oh, I think that was her birthday. I can't remember if it was birthday or death day, but you know."
Yeah, it was one of those.
She just like put the date together. I'm like, Jesus.
You're like, I can.
My grandma's here.
Honestly,
and my cat.
I think we need to take our dreams more seriously.
I like them.
And so because of that, I after being off caffeine for so long, since I quit in November or whatever, I've finally been having more consistent dreams.
Nice.
I've also made a conscious effort to remember my dreams, and I have, for every single day of January, pretty much had a dream that I wrote down, every single one of them. I haven't gone in and analyzed every dream, but I have written them down. And I did actually have a dream with you recently in it. So we were driving in like the middle of nowhere. There was a bunch of trees. It was kind of like a swampy, like up north area. We weren't going to the cabin. We were going to somebody's house to purchase a door. Because we needed a door for some reason. And upon going to this place in the middle of nowhere to get a door, we were turned away. At their door. And then later, so we were like, okay, well, we were turned away, so we went and drove around for a little bit. And then we called them to try to figure out, like, why we were, and they'd given you the information that the person that made the doors has been killed, like assassinated or something. It's like, that's really weird. Why would somebody assassinate just a normal door maker or something like that? And so eventually we got around to, like, going back to the place to, like, see if we could still get a door. And, we were talking to, like, this woman who made the door. She was assassinated. Her family members we were talking to. And they don't know, like, all the information behind how she made the doors. And so we were, like, trying to take... She had some doors in an oven, because I guess that's how she made them. And so they were, like, some burnt doors. And we were trying to, like, rescue them from the oven to see if we could, like, still use the door. For whatever reason. I don't know why we needed the door.
Yeah.
And her brother was like, I don't know how she does this stuff, but people love her doors or something like that. And so we were, like, trying to salvage it. And then after he got it out of the oven, he was telling us, like, he knows 3 of the things that she uses to make the doors. And I don't remember the other 2. One of them was, like, I think I wrote it down. It was, like, 3D something. I don't know. And then it was some other thing that I don't remember because I didn't remember the second I woke up.
Yeah.
But the first thing he said, which is, like, where she got the information to make doors, was from some old, like, baroness's, like, diary journals that were, like, recovered from the old times. And I remember, like, after we learned that information with you, I, like, looked it up, and, like, we had found the information, and when we opened, like, the book or the journals or something, it was, like, witchcraft. All of it was, like... All of it was, like, old, like, signs. And, it was, like, it was basically just all witchcraft in, like, a book. And I was like, man, I'm glad we didn't buy those doors. And I think we, like, ordered a door on Amazon or something after. I remember, like, looking at Amazon listings and, like, seeing $99. And that's what the end of the dream was. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is happening?
We're gonna get a cursed door.
Yeah, we're gonna get some fucking cursed witchcraft door for some reason. Yeah, that was really bizarre. All my dreams have been wild, though. I have so many. I'll do like a top 5 or something here, and I'll go through them. But yeah, I didn't have one this morning. But I also woke up multiple times last night for some reason. And every time I woke up, I had, like, just the strongest boner of my life. Ooh. Yeah. I think I just drank too much before bed, though, honestly.
I'm going to be honest with you. I also woke up with...
Yeah. I woke up and I was like, damn!
Do you remember what time?
Yeah, it was, I think it was like 4... No, it had to be earlier. I think it was like 2:47 or something.
I was 3 a.m. on the dot. I woke up, I'm like, damn.
It was around that same time, yeah.
That's what I think
we're linked, bro.
Exactly. That, and I was driving to work at 5 in the morning when the moon's still out, and I was like, oh, the moon's full. Sometimes.
Honestly, I do think that the moon being full, there's one test out of China about people doing nofap, and it only lasted like 2 weeks or something.
They could only last.
Yeah, it only is 2 weeks, and they don't take into consideration like the date. They don't take into consideration the moon patterns. They don't take into consideration their diet, their exercise, nothing. It's just, hey, these guys didn't come for this amount of time, and we gauged their testosterone. I'm like, what useless science is this? This is so stupid. It's such a small scope. It doesn't take into consideration literally anything else. It's like, ugh.
I wonder, like, if you brought that up to, like, a scientist who can, like, approve or deny any kind of testing, do you think that, like, hey, why don't we have any research on that? Do you think it would just take someone to be interested enough in it and to be good enough as a scientist to be able to go, like, I'll write an experiment on that?
Yeah, I think it would probably take that. It would take funding. It would take a lot of funding.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably is just managing all those variables is difficult. But, like, the people cite this study all the time to show that, like, okay, if you don't masturbate... Basically, what the study shows is that for people that don't masturbate for 2 weeks, eventually their testosterone peaks and then flatlines or something. Yeah. And for people that do masturbate, every 7 days they have a peak of testosterone. So people believe that you have to masturbate once a week in order to get that peak of testosterone. But what I think would actually happen if the study were longer than 2 weeks was it would flatline and then immediately start climbing up over the course of time the longer that you do it. Because I do feel better the longer I go without ejaculating over the course of time. I do feel that spike after the week, like the 7 to 9 days, but then after that, I do think it does just generally get higher.
Gotcha.
But whatever.
For me, for testosterone, if I feel, I guess, manly.
Yeah, you go fuck your wife.
I feel burly. Yeah, well, yeah, but but the biggest thing for me is if I go, like, swim or if I bike, and it's not that day, but the next day I'll be, like, really hungry, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, come on, baby. Like, I feel like a big boy. I feel like a man. Yeah. You know?
Testosterone is a wonderful drug.
It does feel good. It's
the body's internal... You know, it's what gives me the energy to go live on the garbage patch.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
You're just like, after a year of nofap, I'm ready for the garbage patch. And
I've been doing my calisthenics. I just jump into the water, start swimming. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking get there whether they like it or not.
I'll find it.
Yeah, somebody's like, dude, the water's like -5. I'm like, I've been taking cold showers. Keep fucking swimming. Holy shit, this guy's insane.
My shower is -12.
Some girl on the beach, upon seeing me and getting within like a 2-mile radius, scream comes. She's fertile. I'm like, don't worry about it, baby. I got other things to do. My pheromones are so fucking tough. Animals start cowering in owners' houses. People are like, what's wrong with my cat? I'm fucking
cat's
swimming
like
along. Yeah. There's a wolf howl. As I'm the new alpha leader of the pack.
The wolf, you're like swimming along the shore and the wolves are like running with you.
Yeah, you see them on the shoreline.
They're like, finally, the wolves are back in California. And you're like...
people that have been in like insane asylums for long periods of time recover on seeing me. Like, I ain't ever felt like this before.
Wait a second. I don't have two personalities. I'm good to go.
Yeah. Holy shit, I feel like I saw the Lord's light.
You know... So, something really quick about the... Did you ever read up on... there's, like, cases where all of a sudden there will be a news article published about someone who's bipolar or has multiple personalities, and it'll get a lot of attention. Then all of a sudden there'll be a spike in people with multi-personalities. Mm-hmm. And then after like a year or so, once everyone stops talking about it, it just dips back down to normal levels.
That's so funny. I've never heard that.
So that happens with a bunch of junk. Like any kind of disorder that's not like fully scientifically, like multi-personality disorder could exist, but realistically it could just be someone like faking
for drugs or something.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I honestly do believe there are people that like manifest these things based on thinking about it.
Yeah. You very well could, but then you would also be able to manifest it away. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But I think that like, you know, for some people they just maybe they just don't got anything else going on in life. Maybe they really maybe they have trauma that they're like using this to describe themselves, and then by reading about it, that like becomes them essentially.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is definitely me.
I am multiple personality now.
I constantly have this recurring dream where me and another person are on opposite sides of one of those carts that kind of look like a trolley that you pump on a railroad. And I go up and he goes down. I go down and he goes up. And we routinely are trying to pump this car super fast while being chased by a train. And sometimes I think I'm going to make it and then don't and wake up.
Wow. That's poetic. How does that even... And then the therapist goes like, well, you need to be checked into a psychiatric ward.
Maybe you are two people. Maybe you're seesawing between people, and this cart that's on a track is being chased by your father, who abused you. The train.
Wait a second. No. The guy tells the therapist, and the therapist just enters that all into an AI, and then the AI goes like, this person needs to go to psychiatric ward. You need to go to psychiatric ward. I will now publish this in the news. And then there's a spike.
Yeah, there's an increase. Somebody's like, wow, that really sounds like something I have.
Wait a second. I'm Greg.
Yeah. I have this lingering voice in my head that gets louder by the day. He keeps calling himself Greg.
Greg, please, no, you're coming out. What? I'm Greg.
It's like, today I need cookies instead of milk.
Instead of?
Like, oh shit, it's Greg again.
They're mutually exclusive, Greg said. I can only have milk or cookies.
I never have both at the same time. It wouldn't be kosher.
Greg always uses kosher.
Yeah. Greg's Jewish. So
Mahayim.
Yeah. Shalom, my guys.
It's like, hey, Greg, can you bring Phil back? No. Wait a second. Oh, hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah,
Phil back.
He doesn't bring him back. It's like, dude, Greg, if we don't get Phil back, we're never gonna be able to fix this robot on the line, though. He's like, I'm Greg. I only know how to do manual labor.
He's like a firefighter.
I'm a blue collar worker.
Yeah, no, he's a firefighter, and like everybody, he's like the best firefighter, but he's got multiple personalities.
Yeah,
and he's like about to chop down a door to like save a person in a burning house, and he's about to chop it down. He's like, I only use my axe for firewood, and he just like turns around.
Oh shit!
No, Greg,
there's a woman inside with her baby.
I don't care. I don't know how to do any of this fireman stuff.
I've never fought a fire in my 38 odd years of life.
I only make them. He's an arsonist.
Yeah. In fact, I live in the woods. I don't talk to people. Who the fuck are you? It's like, not Greg.
It sounds like the worst anime plot I've ever heard.
Yeah. This fucking guy just tries to live in two societies at once.
He's also like the best lumberjack in the world, but he just can't control whenever he turns into a firefighter.
Oh my god. Dude, I spent several days researching, I'm going to call it researching, quote unquote, weeb material.
Okay.
I was reading manga, because I was like, is there any Actually good. Isekais. And
Okay.
for reference, an isekai is basically a genre of literature where people go to another world. It's really popular now because people routinely want to escape the world that they're living in. Which
who doesn't?
I don't blame them. But I was reading some of these, and some of them are so fucking funny. There was this one... I don't remember the name of it, but like this guy, it's basically a harem. The whole point is to get a harem. And so this guy he's like, I'm gonna kill myself because life sucks and I can't possibly do the work to get anything in real life. And so he's like, all right, I'm gonna kill myself. And then his computer was like, well, do you want to create a character for this super awesome video game? And he's like, yeah, I do. And he rolls his stats like for fucking 24 hours straight to get 99 bonus stats. And he's like, all right, I'm good. Create character. And then he like wakes up in this world and they're like, you're not going to be able to go back to your world because you're stuck in this world now. And he's like, oh shit, well, I guess I'll figure it out. And the first thing he does is he wakes up. He sees a bunch of bandits and he's like, I got a sword. I guess I'm gonna go kill these bandits. And he kills the bandits and then the video game starts, right? And then he goes and fucking, he's like, oh, they sell slaves here. Oh, they're selling the slave of this busty girl that has like these huge knockers. I'm gonna buy her and make her mine. And then like obviously he trains to get money for that. And then like 2 days after having her, he has like sex with her and she's so into it. She loves him. Whatever. That fucking harem works completely perfectly. There's no conflict by him basically just buying her and using her as much as he wants.
It's fine.
Then,
in this
like,
world.
He's super competent. He can do everything. He's so amazing. He's so intelligent. He overcomes every obstacle. And he's like, but wait, I need another girl because I can't do stuff without this girl.
And this is...
And so he gets the other girl, he fucking buys her, and then he fucking shows how impressive he is with all his amazing skills and his 99 bonus points and his ability to do everything, because he's like a super awesome guy. And I'm sitting there thinking about this, I'm like, dog, the best part about this story is that it is so unrealistic. The people that would fucking kill themselves in real life are the same people that would kill themselves in the video game. They're not going to get in the video game, immediately become competent, and be like, you know what? There's a bunch of bandits. I'm going to sacrifice my own life to fight these bandits for these people because I'm just heroic like that. No, the person that's going to kill themselves is like, bandits, and he runs away.
Yeah.
That's the type of person.
And then he's like on a street corner like...
I was reading this old forum post of like these like people that are like doomsday preppers. And one thing that has stuck with me from what they said is they're like, the people that aren't competent in today's world aren't going to be competent when the world gets reset from some apocalypse, okay? Like, if you already were a fucking failure and you weren't self-sufficient, you're not going to suddenly become self-sufficient when the world ends.
Now that the world ends, I got all the knowledge. I'm ready.
I've been preparing this whole time. Like, no.
So how do you use a gun?
Yeah. Oh, man. So that one was terrible. But then there was this other one, which I have to briefly mention because it's even better. This guy's parents are adventurers. And so they go off into all these fucking places. His parents aren't home, basically. Then a dungeon appears in his house. But it's like a sexy dungeon, right? Because he has to fight enemies, which are actual monsters. But then the reward is in a chest, and it's something that allows him basically to rape other people. That's basically what it is. Like, one of his things is like, oh, it's an umbrella, and if you hold it above a girl, the longer she's under the umbrella, the more she falls in love with you. Or like, oh, here's a set of tickets. Every time you give a ticket to a girl, she has to accept that you're coming to spend the night over at her house, and her parents are completely fine with it. Or like, here is this liquid, and if a girl drinks it, she craves your semen so badly that she'll do anything to get it, basically. And that's essentially what this thing is.
I think I wrote these plots when I was 15.
Dude. And so this one, like, basically, the whole story ends with the best ending ever. So by the end, he has, like, 4 girls. The only way he can level up in this game, of this, like, labyrinth that appears in his house, is by having sex with women.
Oh.
In increasingly degenerate ways, basically.
Excellent.
And so he does this, and by the end, he meets the final boss, which is a girl who, like, apparently had some ability to heal thousands of years ago, but her parents, like, hated that because she was so powerful, so they like locked her in a box or something like that, and so she like rotted as like a corpse, but she could never be killed because she could heal. I don't know, whatever. So he meets that chick, and she gives him an illusion, to think that, like, to defeat him, she puts him in this, like, hallucination, basically, where he can have sex with all the girls he wants and never have to leave. And he goes, no, this is fake. Because what I really want is those 4 harem girls, and that's what I'm really gonna strive for. And so he, like, breaks out of the hallucination because his love for these 4 girls is somehow surpasses all of the, like, infinite horrors he could possibly want.
Dicked each one, like, one time, and he's like, those. I want those.
Those are the girls I want. One of them is his teacher, and the other 3 are his classmates, by the way. It's like, oh my god.
And the teacher's like, I'm so in love with you, student.
Yeah. And she's like, even if you use... And by the way, they do figure out, like, all this, and they help him in the dungeon, and they start to help him, like, have sex to level up and stuff. They're basically just become his slaves, because nothing is earned in these stories. Slavery, it's all just degenerate fantasies. Yeah.
Is the easiest way.
So the best part about it is that they figure out that he abused them through using these items, and they're like, even if you use those items, I still feel love. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Who fucking wrote these stupid plot? Why am I reading this shit? So yeah, I spent like 3 days wasting my time on plots. I read a bunch of other stuff, some stuff that wasn't as sexual as that, obviously, but I looked at like what was most popular, and I read those, and I'm like, these are all fucking horrible, dude. They're fucking terrible. But it's like a beautiful kind of terrible. It was like a, man, this really gives you insight onto the rest of the world.
I would want to meet the guy who wrote it and shake his hand.
I wouldn't, because there's probably cum on it.
No, you would shake his hand, then he would like slide you a ticket, and he'd wink at you.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, you have to stay over at my house today. My parents approve, even though we're in high school. I understand. Oh, yes, I'll stand under your umbrella. Wow, my heart goes doki doki the longer I'm on
Doki doki.
You really are a stand-up guy.
With your umbrella.
Yeah. Man, Jesus. I just love you. Man, this magazine I'm holding reveals my inner, darkest, most fetishes, and thus you can use to exploit me. This weapon I have, every time I use it, it makes me more hornier to do cosplay for you. This weapon I use on monsters. Every time I use it, my breasts fill up with milk. And every time somebody drinks it, they heal themselves. I'm like, what am I reading? Who fucking wrote this?
The dude was like, man, I really like milky titties.
Yeah.
Maybe every time he uses a sword, the milky titty. Dude, yeah.
Honestly, it was just like it was a horrible. There was no narrative. There was no conflict. The girls weren't even people. The guy wasn't even like, the worst part about all these is the guy wasn't somebody that you want to aspire to be. They're just like creepy douchebags. Yeah, they're like, and they're so pompous and like conceited. It's fucking horrible. I never, like, you read these and you're like, God, I never want to be like this fucker. Like, this is horrible. And then like all the girls just go along with it because they have no autonomy, because it's just some guy like beating off as he writes the story. Be like, I've been watching porn for 500 years, so I've diminished my peak lifespan and all my male performance invested into 2-dimensional images of fucking lust, essentially. Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Jesus.
So yeah, those books are great.
Yeah, there's one good one, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's they made an anime of it. And now, you know what? I'm just failing miserably in telling you exactly which one it is, but it was a good one. They make fun of the fact that happens and the guy kind of sucks.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would love to read more like that. I was just reading some of this stuff because I eventually want to make an anime joke level for my game, but I think I'm going to do the opposite of that, where like you're isekai'd into a world and you're so fucking incompetent. Like, you have to survive.
No, you have the thing where you roll all like perfect stats and you're like, oh my god, it's gonna be so easy in the world, and then like you load in and they're like, oh yeah, the stats don't mean anything.
Yeah. Yeah, the stats mean nothing. None of the girls like you. Every person you talk to is like, you're fucking weird. You keep talking about, like, how you have, like, some stat menus and stuff that you're looking at, but everybody just treats you like a schizophrenic.
You go to like a guy who's like selling slaves, and he's like, "Yeah, these ones work really hard." He's like, "You got any with big tits?" Like, no, they're starving.
Yeah, they're like skin and bones, and they all have like STDs.
Yeah, trust me, man. If you're planning on trying to have, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Like the second you feed them enough to get energy, they run away.
Yeah, or like
a normal person.
Every time inside one of those that they buy a slave, they're like, "I'm gonna free you." Like as soon as you do it, they just book it.
Yeah, you give them a sword, they kill you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then the story is really about them, and it's nice and dramatic.
Man. So yeah, that was some great research. Honestly, I am perfectly aware of how hypocritical it is to be doing nofap and also reading these stories, but I just have to know. Sometimes the curiosity overwhelms me.
It's a story at the end of the day. It's what our brains crave.
And they're so bad.
Yeah.
Oh man, do you got any closing topics in our fucking sauna?
Yeah, it is hot in here. I was considering like a couple minutes ago. I'm like, maybe I just take off my shirt. But there's only a couple. We got 2 more. We're at 1:30 now. A minute 30, or sorry, an hour 30. A minute 30.
Yeah, a minute 30. That's it. Time's been moving slow for me recently. After I've been reading the 1920s books on how to slow my health.
Yeah, all you got to do is play the podcast back, but just do 1/100th.
Yeah,
speed.
That's it.
There you go.
Ultimate content.
No, it's 60. Because it's time.
It's true.
Ooh, yeah. You like that?
I do.
So, if anybody's like cool, you can make an edit.
It's time for Alexa Super Sucker.
Hey, I got to use your Alexa Super Sucker.
Yeah.
What voices do you got installed on this thing?
Yeah, so recently I've been really into like Indian telemarketing call person.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please give me your cum.
It's affirmations in broken English from an Indian person in an impoverished country. I don't have much food, sir, but you're going to give it to me. There's a lot of protein in there. What would you like to watch while this happens?
Did you know that I have a bachelor's degree? Jesus Christ. Anyway, this one will get canceled. Goodbye.